start with this. Actually, I don't care.
Yeah, but since you're lady, so you are like the first on the is going to be on the first. But it's interesting. I think we the last time we saw each other was last summer. Yeah,
It seems so.
when you were helping me with like reading, translating some of the stories that I composed. Yes, and critiquing them. So my question is, it's been almost a year, I think. Yes.
Mhm.
What has changed in your life during this period?
Oh, quite a few things changed. I took a CPA course
Hmm.
that I had been dreaming about. I embarked on a trip. I would say it was a little journey, and for a few years I hadn't left Kaliningrad region
Hmm.
except for one time when I went to Moscow. And this time I decided to go abroad and finally take this Cambridge exam, CPE. But I also wanted to go to St. Petersburg and to see Polina Kordik and
Hmm.
thank her for the opportunity she gave me. I studied at her school for a year for free. So I had to plan a lot of things. I spent around 10 days in St. Petersburg, and when I decided to go to Moscow for 24 hours, the reason why I did this was to save money. But somewhere along the way, it turned out to be the opposite.
Hmm.
But I spent a day in Moscow. And the bottom line here is I met a lot of friends, I only knew online. And it was a life-changing experience,
Hmm.
to see those people in real life. I met three study buddies in
Hmm.
real life, two in St. Petersburg, one in Moscow. I also met a good acquaintance of mine who I met on a speaking club. Then I made a new acquaintance in Samarkand, where I took a CP exam. She turned out to be a great girl, and we went sightseeing together. It was just an incredible experience, and I think I got some huge insights during my last day, evening, I would
Hmm.
say. In Samarkand, there was a fire show, no, not a fire, like a light show, a laser show, and they were using some pompous words,
Hmm.
phrases, ideas, that Samarkand is the center of the world. I don't mind
Hmm.
them, for such a good, high quality light show. They deserve to call it whatever they want to call it. But there were, I don't know how to describe it. It felt majestic,
Hmm.
and without English in my life, I wouldn't have been standing there at that moment. So I would say this year rekindled my love to English, if it's even possible to make it bigger, And I read a lot. I talked to interesting, smart people. And now I'm at the end of this academic year. I feel changed with new ideas. 2 days hadn't passed when I finished my CPE course, as I started another course. Now it's on lexical approach.
Hmm.
So now I'm going to dive more into methodology. Well, that's been a
Uh,
lot of thinking that I've done.
that's amazing. That's amazing. I remember you writing that you were working like a horse or something, just trying to get prepared to this course, yes, CPE, because it's sort of professional level, yes, I guess. So it's
Mhm.
a big deal. Yeah, and I can't help but look and trying to peep behind you this piano that you mentioned today, and I think is it like retro type piano? Yeah.
It is, it is. My mom has a thing for antique stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, it wasn't my desire, but this is how my doll looks. And
It's amazing.
if you
Some
leave my,
looks like some Indian artifact.
it's not Indian, it's like Baroque or
Hmm.
whatever it is. And it was my mom who gave me this piano. I actually wanted an ordinary piano that works, that was my mom's choice to go for something that's more pleasing to an eye rather than functional. To be honest, we had to invest some money into making this thing work,
This is
and you have
amazing. This is
yeah, and
amazing.
you have to continue investing because it's around 100 years old, and
Really?
because of tear and wear, it doesn't work the way it worked maybe 100 years ago. But the sound is one just great, amazing, and it costed money. But the problem was the piano. There was only one person who could tune it properly, and I'm afraid that person might be dead. We tried to contact him. He
Is
was
there?
an old man who maybe, was around 20 when this piano was made. I
Mhm.
don't know. You know,
It's
not,
handmade? Yes?
I don't know. Well, someone made
Hmm.
it once,
Yeah, but
100.
they can be produced in the factory or just manually with a person laboring.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. So that guy did something with this piano. There are different
Hmm.
frequencies to which
Yeah.
you can tune the piano. And he wanted to approach some particular old style frequency, not frequency in which most pianos function now. But he came close to this ideal, not enough.
Hmm.
So it's somewhere in between the ordinary frequency and this old one that's supposed to be, you know, mysterious, some tune of a frequency of the universe. Have you heard of this
Yeah,
story?
to reflect the spirit, I guess, of the. But I wanted to ask you, are you a piano player in your family or your mother?
Oh, it's me. It's my room. It's my
Hmm.
piano. It's my room. But you can find some mom's influence, because she gave me this bookcase
Hmm.
as a present. She gave me this piano as a present. Well, my stepdad participated financially
Hmm.
in this present, but it was my mom's choice. She doesn't play. I play. I
You
used to
play?
play. Yeah, I used to play. I finished musical
Hmm.
school, but I don't have much time now because I'm totally devoted to improving my English and mastering my methodological skills.
What was the last time you played the piano?
Um, well, I might play just a bit from
Hmm.
time to time, but I think when I purposefully spent an hour playing it,
Hmm.
it been like 2 years
2 years.
ago. Yeah.
But I like the spirit, and it's certainly looks antique, and it's also
Mm.
if it's like mansarda, yeah, or sort of
Yeah, it's an attic.
attic,
It's an
yeah.
attic.
That's a very lovely, like little
Yeah, the
quaint.
bed was also not my choice. I would have chosen something simpler.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
little.
but I don't mind.
Mhm.
Uh, I had been considering an
Mhm.
opportunity to change my life, to leave this room and to go to Svetlogorsk
Yep.
and work there as a tutor,
Mhm.
substituting a woman who owns this business,
Mhm.
this English club. She needs to leave and she's looking at substitute, and they offered living there in the office. And I only needed one thing. I wanted to know what kind of sleeping arrangement I'll be offered.
Probably
And I
on the
was
floor,
ready.
yes, and the sleeping bag.
No, there is a kind of sofa, but it's in the hall, so there is this office, like maybe it's a studio, I don't know. But when she told me the details, like I changed my mind and I decided to stay here. We have a nice garden around
Yeah,
our
really,
house.
really. It's no,
Yeah.
you're speaking about sofa, and it reminds me. A couple of days ago, I told you I had been invited to this place to perform, and it was time actually for me almost to go to sleep. And then I had the idea I'd like to perform. So I go there and I want to sleep in band, the whole setup, band's performing. And they have a nice little sofa. So I just go to sleep at the sofa, and then they wake me up before the performance, and I'm on the stage. So nice when a place have a sofa. That's just lovely.
What time was it? Because as far as I remember, you can function like 24/7, sometimes skipping nights,
Yeah, but there was a couple of days in advance. So, but yeah,
Ah,
what I want to say, it's really lovely because when you sleep, at least in this example, in my case, when I was sleeping, I can hear people walking around, talking, because I slept where not like 2-3 meters from where they were selling drinks. It's sort of it's art space, not a bar. It's very lovely because there are artistic works, pictures, etc., like exotic and modern and different. And you're sleeping and closing your eyes, and you hear this buzzing, people like whispering and sharing. It's so lovely. It's like a lullaby.
mhm.
Yeah, but Jane, do you think is life a game for you?
I was waiting. I've been waiting for weird questions to start. Okay, it's not a game for
Mhm.
me. It's a journey, and today I I mopped the floors. I told you I was supposed to do it yesterday, but plans changed. I had an interview with a new
Mhm.
potential student, so I did it today. And today's the day when I started listening to Agatha Christie autobiography.
Really?
And yeah, and in the pre-word, they say, oh, she says, because there is like a word from an editor, and there is what is not the opposite of epilogue? I forgot it even in Russian, like pre-word, like something.
Prologue, yeah.
Oh, not like prologue. She just forward,
Ah, yeah, yeah,
forward.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and she says that this book is a hymn of joy to life, something like this. So to me, life is joy. Now, when I quit school,
Mhm.
it's been joy of 4 years of joy, without working on someone, being
Mhm.
self-employed. Yeah, it's not a game. I don't, it's just a joy, a pleasure, a nice journey, and sometimes hard work.
And what are the rules?
No rules. It's not a game. You don't need rules if it's not a game.
The, but you mentioned actually the Agatha Christie. I've heard she's one of the. She sold a lot of books. I know, like she and this is detective genre, detective story. I'm a big Sherlock Holmes fan, just a
Mhm.
huge Sherlock Holmes fan, and I know, like, yeah. But anyway, if the so it's I guess some people like to break rules. What about you?
Mm. Well, you break rules
Mhm.
when there are rules.
Mhm.
What do you mean by rules?
But
Rules
mhm.
imposed by the government.
Mhm.
Yeah, I pay taxes.
Mhm.
I can officially proclaim that I'm paying taxes
Mhm.
for every ruble I get from my students. I'm self-employed. Do you mean this rules? What kind of rules do you mean? Be more specific.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah,
sometimes.
do you mean like doing what you're doing in Ashman Park at night with girls running around from policemen? I don't do that.
Well, yeah, in creative perspective, some people, but it fascinates me. Do you have something that you like, Zhenya?
Yeah, I thought it was obvious that I like
No, no, no,
learning English.
like.
Like, I
Hmm.
thought like. Uh, but you ask me whether I lack
Hmm.
something. Well, it's a very personal question that I'm not ready to share on camera.
Something
But
intriguing here. Yeah.
yeah, maybe I'm lacking a kidney, for example,
Kidney?
I'm joking.
That's
I'm
crazy.
just,
But yeah. Um,
yeah, maybe I don't want people to know that I have only one kidney, one ovary, or one, I don't know, what else do you have in pairs?
well, if you think, who is stronger, you or your mood?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question because I'm afraid
Mhm,
sometimes it's not either of them.
mhm,
It's can be something happening outside my control.
mhm,
Maybe people being rude,
mhm,
or I don't know, something comes up at work, anything, maybe well, I want to give you an example. What nasty thing happened to me that made me feel nervous? Well, you don't need an example. Just know that I'm trying to be in control, to hold sway over my mood, but my mood sometimes is influenced by what's happening. Um, I I listened to a course of 24 lectures
mhm,
on cognitive behavioral
mhm,
therapy, and I learned a lot of stuff there. And I tried to implement some ideas, and I had never thought of it before. But there is this connection, between your emotions, your mood, your behavior,
mhm,
your feelings. And sometimes now I try to step back from what's happening around me and see it for what it is, that I can do nothing with it. We can speak about political situation now, the fact that I can't do a lot of things now as a Russian person, and if this feeling of learned helplessness can lead to some dark places. But it's just, I'm talking about something on a global scale, and that's why I never watch news. My mom tells me some stuff, but in general, I try just to concentrate on tiny things that I can control. But when I can't control even them, it can unsettle me a little bit. But I want to give you an example. What? Oh, we had a row with my study buddy. So there are three of us. We
A good
meet
fight is
twice.
always very healthy.
And I don't want to go into details, but we had a good row. I
Mhm,
mean, a good row in terms that it cleared air, it released some tension,
mhm,
but it unsettled me
mhm,
for a day. After I had a good night's sleep, I woke up because now I know that at night your brain does hard work of, working through some emotions, something that you go through the night, and you wake up more relaxed, you outlived what happened before. But that day, I couldn't make myself stop thinking about it because I always saw her as my good friend. And it turned out, that there was something she wasn't satisfied with how our less, to cut a long story
mhm,
short, one of three, me and
mhm,
another girl,
mhm,
talk a lot
mhm,
about our jobs,
mhm,
but our initial purpose used to be to practice learning,
mhm,
speaking English, doing some exercises, and our lessons turned into like 2 hours of gossiping
mhm,
twice a
mhm.
week, and the other girl didn't like it. And it's great that she did it. Now we knuckle down again. We study more purposefully again. So, it was all for the best, but still it left some aftertaste. And I remember the day how upset I was, to put it mildly.
Did you make up
So,
to each other?
yeah, everything is
Hmm.
fine now. Yeah, I hope so. I really hope so. But you never know, she can be quite reserved. And now every time I talk for too long, or the other girl talks for too long, I'm afraid whether this third girl is thinking again, they're talking about sidetracking and all.
Yeah, it's like in a small group where you have certain amount of people, like probably each has certain time, yes, but sometimes people got inspired and go on, and why not? If there's no time limit, but if it's the other way around, then of course. But could you be a psychologist, like as a profession, as your job? Could you be a therapist?
Yeah. No,
No, no.
no, no. I think it's too an important role to take, because um, I'm not sure how people find courage, to try to change some other people's lives, and I think I would get attached to my clients too
Mhm,
much. I want to see them as friends, and that's not professional.
mhm,
Uh, I really get attached to my students when I teach English, and some of them are teenagers, so I wouldn't say that we are friends, but there is a kind of connection. I'm genuinely interested in their life, and I might give a piece of advice, something that a psychologist or a
mhm,
therapist, shrink shouldn't do. They have to follow some protocols. They have to, I don't know, use whatever skills and knowledge they acquire at university. But I just want to be myself, to give my advice as a person who has already lived 36 years on this planet. I'd rather be myself. That's what I like about teaching. You can, be yourself.
mhm.
That's a good thing about it. And I'm sure you know it too.
It's interesting. Was English your first love?
Oh no. My first love was a boy in the kindergarten. I was 5, I think, or 4. I don't remember.
I mean English like as a language, like if we compare with French or German, etc. Was English?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was my first love.
Mhm,
French was my second
mhm,
love. Italian was my third love. Spanish was my fourth
mhm.
love. But yeah.
How did you get into teaching?
Mm. You, I need to start from so far. How many hours do we have?
Oh, but we have some.
Yeah, I don't have all the time in the world. I need to prepare a lesson for tomorrow, but I'll try to sum it up in a few paragraphs. So first, I started being interested in English when I was in the 5th grade. I feel so fake because I told this story in Paulina Kodik's
Mhm,
interview, and I can't repeat it again. It's like, retelling the same thing, but now in English. Uh, then I have to change some stuff, tell it in another way. Well, okay, I loved English,
mhm,
you know it. I decided to be an interpreter. During the 4th year of studying at university, I realized I want to be a flight attendant,
mhm.
but I graduated from the university, and with this uh, um, cool diploma. I went to Moscow. I worked as a flight attendant, and actually, I thought I was going to work as a flight attendant till the day I die. I had plans to be a cabin attendant in chief. I wanted to become an instructor when I have my hair gray. But I didn't pass the medical commission after the fourth year of working there. And I had to quit the job and I returned to Kaliningrad from Moscow. And there I had no idea what to do with myself. I even went to some shops in shopping malls, to try to find a job as a sales assistant. But I gather I didn't have the skills because no one took me. No one offered me the job. They never called me back. And then I started working as a concierge in a hotel in the city center. It didn't belong to the hotel. My boss was renting there a little booth at the entrance, and I was selling individual excursions, very expensive ones. And I had a lot of free time. It was a 12-hour shift. So I started reading books in English. I reread, first I reread Tanya Grotter in Russian. I remember
Some
I
people
read,
told me that they love this, especially in Russia, more than Harry Potter itself, because it's sort of more in congruence with our culture.
no, I love Harry Potter much more, but before that, I had reread Harry Potter, so I wanted, similar vibes, something else, but I couldn't make myself reread Harry Potter for the fifth time. I'm not like you.
Yeah.
How many times have you reread
I'm
it?
right now. I'm on the 22nd circle.
Oh my God.
Guilty as charged. Yeah. But so you were in Tanya Grotter, yeah?
I just reread Tanya Grotter, and I think it was the first time I finally read the last book. I don't remember reading the last book when I was a teenager, when those books were released. I remember just reading the first like four. So I had a lot of time to think, to do nothing. And at some point, I talked to my friend who is a history teacher, and I thought like, why not use this good brain of mine, uh, for something like a devotion, like a vocation, not just sitting there on the stool. And actually, this world of business is not my cup of tea, really. There was some unpleasant situation, like can remember one quite easily because today I discuss it with my study buddies. Those situations, when you sell very expensive, what was it, guided tour, like an excursion with a driver, with a personal guide. But back then, maybe it was 7 or 8 years ago, it was 12,000 rubles for 6 hours, a trip to Koronian Spit with a guy. It was okay, if they decide to pay it, okay. But sometimes they were a bit late for various reasons. And my boss would drop me a text saying that, wait for them to enter the hotel. When they return, ask for 2,000 rubles for this extra 20 minutes. Like it's so 20 more minutes. He sums it up to 1 hour, and 1 hour he charges 2,000 rubles for 1 hour. And there were various moments like that. And I think the idea of going back to school, now in the form of a teacher and to work for idea because I knew the salary wouldn't be great, but working as a concierge wasn't also a very lucrative enterprise for me. So I decided to first of all get a certificate that I can teach English in school because my education, my specialization is linguist interpreter, not a teacher. So I took a year professional retraining course in Bethune, and that's how I got into teaching.
So
Yeah,
did you take classes from some private tutor before even going to university?
yeah. I had a tutor when I was in the fifth grade, but it was like a 3 month thing, I guess. I want to repeat this story. I have a funny story, but I don't want. I tell it to. I repeated it too much this last month. So without a funny story, and I had a tutor when I was in the 10th grade, and then another tutor when I was in the 11th grade. And before I started studying online on some English courses, I also had a very short experience of taking lessons from a native speaker. I wanted to find a British person who would help me practice my British accent. And to be honest, the guy had no clue what to do with me, because I also wanted him to prepare me for a speaking C part. And well, it didn't click, the way he taught lessons. I think I get much more from my study buddies now, from online lessons, and it was quite expensive back then.
Do you have sometimes conflict situations with students? If you do have, how do you solve them?
Luckily, I don't.
No.
No, there were some when I worked at school, but not with students. Well, there was one girl in the 10th grade, but later, both she and the head of studies at school told me that she was going through a rough patch,
Yeah.
and that's why she overreacted. And a few months later, I decided to quit, not because of her, but she came up to me and told with another student, and they told me not to leave, that if it's because of her, she is so sorry. And I was like, oh my God, dear girl, you you are like, if I count you as the reason why I'm leaving, you will be on number, I don't know, 25.
How do you prefer like taking your English to the next level? Maybe some movies that you like
Yeah,
dive
I'm
into?
a bit slow. I know. Sorry, it's a good question, but I just remembered a story with a good conflict. You like
Oh,
it?
okay, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I just remembered one story. So I think it was either first year with this girl or the second, and we had a good rapport, as I thought. But so at some point, I noticed that she started bringing homework less and less often. So, and at some point, she was, oh, I just didn't do anything. And I know that I made a huge mistake. It was maybe my second or third year of working as a tutor, maybe like 4 years ago. I mean, on a large scale, when I quit school, I worked as a tutor for many years. And when I worked at school, but I started taking it seriously when I quit school, and tutoring became my main job, my main source of income. So I found some new students on Avita, and she was one of them. And I don't remember how long we had been having lessons. a year or 2 years. So I thought we became quite close. And sometimes, getting back to a question about being psychologist, she came to me, and if she had a bad day, she complained. And actually, I like those moments when a student confides in me. And it's also, from a methodological point of view, it's a good thing that she can tell it to me, that she trusts me with it, because if she doesn't get it off her chest, she can't focus on the lesson. She
Yeah.
can't start absorbing new information. She has to get the story of her, tell it to me, especially if it's something that had happened to her just this morning at school, and then she comes to me, and maybe I'm a first adult she can talk to about it. And, I listened to her, and I knew she was a sensitive girl, and I really liked her. But one day, when she didn't bring her homework again, I decided to be the strict teacher, and I said, we are not going to see any progress if you continue to do so. After being her confidant, I turned into this serious school teacher like this. It was a huge mistake, because she didn't expect it from me. Started crying, and she had been crying a whole lesson, and I said, okay, I tried to, somehow improve the situation. It was my first encounter with this. It taught me a lot, maybe not to get too close to students, to control homework inflow on a regular level, not to, let it go awry and then suddenly attack your kid, and maybe discuss this question with her mom. It was just, maybe it was my first year, by the way, when I started taking tutoring really seriously. And I think she never forgave me for that. She came to me other times, but our relationship was never the same. She started sharing things, and she didn't continue studying with me the next year. That was the biggest conflict I've ever had with a student.
How old was
And
she?
she, I think, no, that means we had lessons for 2 years, because at first, I guess she was in the 8th grade, and then she was in the 9th grade, something around these numbers. I don't remember well. But she had, such a sunny personality, and I'll never forget it.
Probably 16, 15, around this age. Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah,
when you yourself were a student, did you always do homework?
I did.
Yeah.
I always did it. Maybe not when the chemistry was concerned. As far as chemistry was concerned,
No, no. I mean
there
English. I mean English.
English, of course,
Yeah. Yeah.
I always did it. Yeah, and I believe that you can't get any real results if you only go to some lessons. However brilliant your teacher is, you'll get some results, but they will always be average. Would you agree with me?
Well, I have a couple of students who do not do homework just because they had this horrible experience in school, at university, with